Okay, so upper's off. I think I pointed that out in the last video. Compressor's disconnected from the engine itself. I think that was 4 bolts. Undid one that was unnecessary, I think. Right there. The bolts to do the compressor are this one. They're not even that one. That one and that one are not the compressor bolts. So it's this one, and there's one right there. Then it's the bottom 2. I guess I just undid those unknowing. Then I undid that one right there, which it looks like it's a pulley bolt, but I'm not going to worry about it. Unbolted the alternator. There's a bolt right here. And then there's a bolt there. It's just those 2, I believe. It is moving freely, so I think it's just to wiggle it off of that mount. There's a connector. Well, first there's a ground here. It's going to be number 39. I might have already used 39, but I didn't use it over here, so that's fine. There's a connector right here on the side of the alternator. On that connector I just wrote alt. There's also your power connections down there. Those are really obvious, but I'll still mark them with something. This wire loom here, it is connected to the back of the alternator, but you should be able to slide it off. Usually they slide off. Let's see if I can do that. If not, you can open it up. I'll probably, looks like if I stick a screwdriver in there, it should open up. Let's see, where's my big old screwdriver? Oh, that won't work. Okay, let's see. Get a light in there. Might have to do it on this side. I'll mess with that in a minute. So that's how far I've gotten so far. So I'm going to take off that loom, drop the alternator, and then see what's next. It's moving along. I now have some more electrical connections down below. The plan is to take both the engine and the transmission out all as one piece. So I'm gonna go down below and see what electrical connections I still have attached to the engine, and then start working on the tranny. Alright, so instead of finagling with the actual clip itself, I decided that I would just take off the entire bracket, which turned out to be a good thing because it turns out you have another wire which looks like to be a ground. There's 2 bolts, and they're not too long. They're number 10s. They also have a screw head there, so I just take them out. Don't worry about taking the wire loom off of there. So next, just gotta get the alternator disconnected from there. I think I have all the bolts out. This was the long one that went down that hole, so I think it's just kind of stuck on there. I'm gonna go get me a breaker bar and kind of shove it in there and see if I can't wiggle it out. So I ended up just beating it out with a hammer, actually 2 hammers. There it is. You can see that's the rack and pinion, and it's gonna need to be replaced, but we'll do that when we do the 4x4 swap. Gotta go look in the book and see what else they want disconnected. I think that's pretty much it up top. I don't think they wanted the starter disconnected, but I could be wrong. So we'll go take a look. That is the alternator right there. So there was a wire right here on the top post. It sits in there just like this. So there was a wire here. There's where the connection that I labeled alt is, and there's the power. So there's the alternator. We're gonna have that tested to see if it's good. And so yeah, got to figure out what I'm supposed to do with this. They just wanted it disconnected according to the book. Also, I kind of regretting following all the information in the book. They suggested that I lifted it, set it on jack stands, and then removed the alternator and the disconnect the compressor. I'm finding that's really hard to do. I really recommend you just leave it down on the ground. So it's up to you, but I recommend you leave it down on the ground until after you get everything done up top.